All right, so welcome back, listeners. We're diving in today, and I mean really diving in, to learn about a truly one-of-a-kind creature,
Oh, yeah.
the aardvark.
Definitely unique.
I mean, where do you even begin with this animal? Like, if you were trying to describe it to someone who had never seen one before, it's almost like a mix and match, you know?
Yeah, it's like someone took parts from different animals and just kind of slapped them together.
Right, like picture a pig, right, with that long snout, but then give it the body of an anteater and then top it off with, like, these rabbit ears.
Yeah, it's a look.
But but here's the thing. Under that, let's call it unique exterior, the aardvark is honestly a marvel of evolution.
Right. A true testament to how life finds a way to thrive, even in the harshest environments.
Exactly. So today's deep dive, we're going to uncover what makes the aardvark so special, so well adapted, and why it plays such a crucial role in the African ecosystem.
It's going to be a fun one.
So first off, just to get us oriented, where do we even find these aardvarks?
All right, so aardvarks are found throughout sub-Saharan Africa, so that's the area south of the Sahara Desert.
Gotcha. And in terms of size, what are we talking about? Like, are these tiny little critters or?
Oh, they're definitely not tiny. They're actually quite sizable.
Okay.
On average, they're about 3 to 4 feet long, and they can weigh anywhere from 90 to 130 pounds.
Wow, so like medium-sized dog territory?
Yeah, kind of, but way more unusual looking.
Yeah, no kidding. So we've got to talk about the elephant, or I guess aardvark in the room, right? That snout.
Oh, yeah, that's the first thing people notice, and for good reason.
It's like super long and tubular, right?
Exactly. And it's not just for looks. That snout is packed with incredibly sensitive receptors, making it like a superpower sniffing machine.
Okay, so it's all about the sense of smell, like way more important than sight.
Smell is definitely king for the aardvark. It's their primary way of finding food.
And speaking of senses, what about those ears? They always stand out to me in pictures.
Oh, yeah, those prominent upright ears are another key adaptation.
They look kind of like rabbit ears almost.
They do a bit, but they're all about function. Those ears give the aardvark exceptional hearing.
Interesting. So like they can hear ants marching underground or something.
Well, maybe not marching, but they can definitely pinpoint the location of insect colonies, even if they're underground.
Wow. Okay, now I'm starting to see how all these pieces fit together.
It's a whole sensory symphony.
And we've got those claws. There's something else.
Yes, the claws. Those are essential for the aardvark's lifestyle. They're super strong and sturdy, like little excavators.
Right. So they use them for digging, obviously, but what else?
Well, digging is a big part of it. Aardvarks dig these elaborate burrows. They're like master architects.
Now, these burrows, they're more than just a place to sleep, right? I've heard some pretty cool things about them.
You heard right. Think of them as underground apartment complexes. Once an aardvark abandons a burrow, all sorts of other animals move in.
Really? Like who?
Oh, you name it. Reptiles, birds, smaller mammals. It's like the aardvarks unintentionally creating a whole housing community down there.
So they're not just surviving, they're actually shaping their environment and supporting a whole bunch of other species.
Exactly. They're ecosystem engineers playing a vital role in maintaining biodiversity.
That's wild. Okay, so let's talk about the aardvark site. Bread and butter, literally. What's on the menu for these guys?
Well, as you might have guessed from all that sniffing and digging, they're insectivores.
Okay, so ants, termites, that sort of thing.
You got it, but they've really taken insectivore to a whole nother level.
How so?
Their whole body is built for finding and eating ants and termites. The snout to smell them out, the claws to break into their homes, and then the tongue.
Oh yeah, I gotta hear about this tongue.
Imagine this. 12 inches long, sticky as flypaper. It's basically a super efficient insect vacuum.
No way, 12 inches. That's longer than my hand.
It can reach deep into those narrow termite tunnels and just slurp up all the tasty insects inside.
That's incredible. And so this isn't just about the aardvark getting a meal, right? This has a bigger impact on the ecosystem too.
Absolutely. Their eating habits help keep ant and termite populations in check so they don't become too dominant and start damaging plants.
So they're like natural pest control.
Exactly. They're keeping the whole system balanced.
It's amazing how these things all connect, right?
Yeah.
Like even something as, I don't know, weird looking as an aardvark plays such a big role.
It's a great reminder that every creature, no matter how strange or small, has a purpose.
Speaking of strange, I gotta ask about something I came across while prepping for this. The aardvark cucumber.
Oh, the aardvark cucumber. Now there's a fun one.
It's like a real thing.
Oh, yeah, it's a fruit, and it has a super interesting relationship with the aardvark.
I'm guessing the aardvark eats it.
They sure do. They love the fruit. And the cool part is the seeds pass through the aardvark's digestive system totally unharmed.
Okay, and?
And then when the aardvark, well, does its business, often near its burrow, those seeds end up in the perfect spot to sprout.
So it's like a win-win. The aardvark gets a meal, and the cucumber gets its seeds spread.
Exactly. It's a perfect example of a mutualistic relationship in nature.
Nature's amazing. Okay, so we've talked about the aardvark's senses, their digging, their diet, but what about their lifestyle? Like, when are they out and about?
Aardvarks are nocturnal, so they come out at night, under the cover of darkness.
Oh, okay, so that's when those super senses come in handy.
Right. You got it. Their smell and hearing become even more crucial for navigating and finding food in the dark.
Makes sense. And I've always imagined aardvarks to be kind of, slow and lumbering, but I bet they're more agile than they look, right?
You'd be surprised. They may appear clumsy above ground, but underground they're like little digging machines, super fast and agile.
So they can make a quick escape if they need to.
Absolutely. That digging speed is their main defense against predators like lions or hyenas.
Wow, so they've really got it all figured out, huh? But sadly, I know that even a creature as well adapted as the aardvark is facing threats, right?
Unfortunately, yes, they're not immune to the pressures humans are putting on the environment.
Like what kinds of pressures?
Well, habitat loss is a big one. As humans expand agriculture and development, it takes away the aardvark's home.
And that means less space for burrows, less food.
Exactly. And climate change is another concern. It can disrupt their food sources, make it harder to find enough ants and termites.
So even though they're so good at surviving in tough conditions, they're still vulnerable to these bigger changes.
Sadly, yes. It's a reminder that everything's connected, and our actions have ripple effects we might not even realize.
That's a great point and a good takeaway for our listeners. Like, why should they care about the aardvark? What's the bigger message here?
Well, I think the aardvark is a perfect example of how looks can be deceiving. It might seem strange or even unimportant, but it plays this vital role in the whole ecosystem.
It shows that every creature has its place, its purpose.
Exactly. And by understanding and appreciating those roles, we can better understand how interconnected nature is and why it's so important to protect it.
Well said. So listeners, next time you see a picture of an aardvark, or maybe even hear the name, remember that it's more than just a funny-looking animal.
It's a reminder of the amazing diversity of life and the importance of every single piece of the puzzle.
And maybe take a moment to think about what other hidden heroes are out there, creatures that might not get the spotlight but are quietly keeping things in balance.
There are so many amazing creatures waiting to be discovered, each one with a fascinating story to tell.
So stay curious, keep exploring, and remember, never underestimate the power of nature's unsung heroes.
Well put. Until next time.